perfect weather to catch some CEBL basketball here at the Expo Center. Well, I'm Sarah Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us. The Edmonton Stingers come into this game on a 4-game winning streak. The Calgary Surge are ahead of them in the standings though, and the Surge have only had 4 losses all season. One of them though was to the Edmonton Stingers. So far this season, each team has taken a game, so the season series is tied. That's about to change tonight. Now let's take a look at the highlights from the Stingers' last game.
This is a team that continues to find ways to
players who are used to scoring.
Here's Keon Ambrose Hilton with the dunk. The Alliance, they're going to trade off this one. It's courtesy Brandon Porter. Then he put up 16 points for the Alliance, including this 3. Scotty Lindsay, he's going to return the favor. Then it's Porter once again, but this time it's not points, it's a turnover. Nick Hornsby with the steal. He pushes it up the court to Sean East for the layup. East was an absolute beast last game. He knocks down a 3. He had 35 points on the night. Let's show you a few more. There's that 3. The fans absolutely loving it. And then in target time, it's East with another steal and a layup to end it. 94-83 Stingers. All right, now let's throw it over to Paul Sir and Kira Lyons with the call.
Welcome everybody. What an afternoon for basketball. A little rainy outside, but there's going to be an awful lot of heat inside. And Kira, we've got, of course, the North-South Battle of Alberta going on. They've split this year, but recently the Stingers have been on a roll. What are you looking for in tonight's matchup?
I'm really excited for tonight's matchup. I think the last time when they played each other in Red Deer, I think they look very different now. They've both kind of added, Sean East didn't get to play a whole lot in that matchup, and they've also added Gilliard to the Surge as well. So getting to see that matchup, I'm really excited for, and it's always such a battle. Like, they have such different styles of play, but it's always such a grind.
It's going to be a great game tonight. There have been some lineup changes, some lineup additions. But let's get started right now with Sarah Ryan, along with Stinger head coach Jordan Baker.
Well, Coach Baker, your team comes into this riding a huge win streak. Besides Sean East, who put up near franchise record points last game, what else is working for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think our depth has improved, certainly. You know, we've got some new guys in town, and some of the other guys like Chris, who have been with us for a handful of games, are starting to get a little bit more acclimatized to what we're trying to do on both sides of the ball. But, you know, you look at our points allowed in the last 5 or 6 games, you know, we're keeping teams in that 81 to 85 mark, which gives ourselves an opportunity to win.
Absolutely. A couple games ago in the post-game interview, we saw the entire team join into the interview. Are you seeing a lot more of that chemistry now at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's always easy to be together and easy to be friends with each other when you're winning games. For us, our challenge is when they go on a run tonight, can we stay unified? Can we stay positive?
Absolutely. Now, Calgary does have one new addition. They've lost Jameer Nelson Jr., but they have a new addition. He put up 25 points last game, and their scoring's a bit more spread out. What challenges does that pose to you on defense?
Yeah, I mean, Gilliard's a nice player. You know, we looked at him in free agency as well. But, you know, for them, they want to get out and run in transition, and they've got a bunch of great athletes. So for us, can we make them play 5-on-5 every single possession? Keep them to spots where they're not as effective, and then rebound the ball.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck. You are watching CEBL basketball live on TSN Plus, CEBL Plus, powered by TonyBet and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL. On the other side of the break, we'll have the keys to the game.
This is Canada's League, back for season number 7. Born on our courts, built for our culture. Coast to coast, every city with its own story. The Blackjacks represent pride, purpose, and precision.
For 3, it's good! And the
Scarborough, here stars shine and trends are set. The Shooting Stars are more than a team, they're a movement. Montreal, culture, swagger, and a certain je ne sais quoi. Championship DNA, proven and relentless. Two-time champs and still hungry. The Honey Badgers, they live up to their name. Relentless and unafraid. Reigning champions, ready to run it back. Winnipeg, fearless and always ready to strike. Saskatchewan, the Prairie Grit. Here, they play for each other. Western pride and Stampede spirit. The Bandits show out when the lights come on, and they hunt as a pack.
We battle, and it's a testament to you guys. One more fight,
We are Canada's lead. This is our game. This is the CEBL. Pull up.
Got a beautiful shot downtown Edmonton in the background. The streetcar, highest streetcar in the world, going over the old high-level bridge, setting the tone and setting us up for what's going to be a fantastic game between two intense rivals. Split the season series so far. Let's look right now at the team matchup, Kira. Points about identical. Field goal percent about identical. Edge and free throws to the Stingers. 3-point the same. What do you see, Kira, that I think that favors one team or the other in the stats?
I mean, there's a couple things that I see, like the rebounding battle I think is going to be really big, so the fact that the Surge have the edge on that one. I thought the three-point percentage was going to be quite different, if I'm going to be honest. I didn't realize it was that close. I thought that was going to be a bit of a separator. Yeah, I don't know. I think like for two teams that are very different, their averages look quite similar. Like they play a very different style of basketball, and yet quite similar when you look at it on the stat sheet. 100%.
And Kira, you've picked a few keys to the game for both sides. Let's start with the Calgary Surge.
They love to run. They need to get out in transition. I think they need to get a lot of offense from their defense. You know, putting a lot of pressure, getting tips, and then getting out and running. They're so dangerous when they have a head of steam or they're going downhill. Win the rebounding battle, always. I think that, you could put that on every single key to a game, but you need to be able to make sure that you're crashing the glass while also taking care of theirs. If you're making the Stingers take bad shots, you can't allow a second chance, and then take care of the ball. They need to make sure that, that running game doesn't come with a ton of turnovers.
And keys to the game for the Stingers?
Play with pace. They need to be pushing the ball, making decisions with some speed. They need to make sure they're getting back in transition defense because they need to be able to slow the Surge down. And then again, win the rebounding battle. If they're going to take bad shots, that you can't give them a second look.
Let's look at the starting lineups presented by TonyBet as we get ready to go here in Hall D, the Hive or the Hangar, depending on what you want to call it. For the Calgary Surge, we have Sean Miller-Moore having another outstanding season. The new kid in town, Evan Gilliard Jr., Greg Brown III, Kyrie Thomas, and Gabe Osaboyan. For the Stingers, we have the very hot Sean East II, Mason Bourchier bringing his steady play, Nick Hornsby, Scotty Lindsay, and Keon Ambrose Hilton rounding out the starting lineups for tonight's game. So let's go over to the players to watch for tonight. Kira, you outlined a player to watch from each team. I think, and this is presented by TonyBet, let's start with your choice for the visiting Surge.
I think Gilliard is the guy to watch tonight. I think his matchup with Sean East is going to be huge. He's only one game in, but he had 25 in that game, and I think that a point guard that wants the ball in his hands, can be disciplined is something that the Surge need, and also being a threat beyond the arc. And I think his first game, he showed that he's capable of doing that, so I'm excited to watch him play.
And then, of course, for the Stingers, who is your player to watch, again, presented by TonyBet.
Sean East, he's my pick for the Stingers as well. He's been on an absolute tear, like shooting at crazy percentages, playing so well. And then both being lefty point guards is super exciting. And that matchup to me is going to be great.
Now it's time for the tip-off of tonight's game presented by Spalding. The official game ball of the CEBL. This is going to be a good one. This place is going to be rocking. We get off to a start, controlled by Ambrose Hilton, over to Mason Boursier. Boursier trying to turn the corner, getting over into Lindsay's hands. Scotty Lindsay on a nice pull-up. And Kira, one of the things we've seen since the beginning of the year is the range in Scotty Lindsay's game isn't just limited to three-point shooting. His ability to put it on the floor, get to the rim, or pull up in the mid-range has really made a difference for this team.
Yeah, when he's scoring the ball, the Stingers are so much more dangerous. It just opens things up for everybody else.
Fast break, missed by Lindsay, well contested by the Surge. Ambrose Hilton hustling to try to put it back. For our officials tonight, crew chief Barry Stothard. Umpires are Cooper Toppings, well actually, Karan Lewis and Rayan Kanish are calling the game for us tonight. Number 7, Thomas going to the line. Kyrie Thomas puts the Surge on the board as we're getting the game started tonight in front of a crowd that continues to fill up this beautiful Hall D in the Expo Center. Nick Hornsby trying to thread the needle. Ball kicked out of bounds. Hornsby really is a Swiss Army knife, isn't he, Kira?
He loves to thread the needle. He loves to throw those real long bounce passes, and when he connects on them, they're so nice. But often they get tipped out, but I love them. I love watching them.
Nice interior feed by Ambrose Hilton to a cutting Sean East. A goaltending call. Count the bucket, 4-1 Stingers. 8:48 to go, first half. Boursier giving some light pressure on Gilliard, who shows some of his range right out of the gate. Outstanding player for the Raptors. Toronto 905 this past season. This is going to be a great matchup. Pinpointed right there as he picks the pocket of Sean East. And here's going to be something interesting, Kira, because one of the things I've noticed about Sean East is when he makes a mistake or something happens that he doesn't like, he generally really focuses and comes back and makes up for it.
What did you see his face after he got picked there? that was that refocus, I think.
100%. Missed by Lindsay from 3. Once again, pull deep by Gilliard.
Oh, nice pass.
No doubt about that one, just what we were talking about before. Nick Hornsby's court vision pays off on a streaking Sean East, who goes in for a reverse layup. 6-4 lead for the Stingers. Rugsy Miller-Moore with the basketball, as I mentioned in the pregame, outstanding season. Shot short. Hornsby with the ball, pushing it up court. Off the knee of a Surge. Stingers out of bounds on the sideline. It's going to be interesting to see what both teams do in terms of their substituting patterns tonight. Stingers, or rather the Surge, are without Jameer Nelson Jr. He's down in the NBA Summer League. And so with bringing Gilliard in, but that also is probably going to affect their rotation as the evening goes on as well.
I also often think about the subbing rotations as a coaching staff, like making sure that you have the correct amount of Canadian American players all the time. Like that creates a completely separate issue or obstacle to kind of work around as you're subbing in, and like that would make it so much more difficult. It's hard as it is already.
Absolutely. Previous play, Nick Hornsby on a nice Euro step under the basket to score. Now we've got a foul on the Stingers. We're going to be sending James Brown III will be going to the free throw line. 8-4 Stingers setting up. This is the second set of 2 free throws for Calgary. They're trying to attack the basket early, get to the line early, and establish an inside presence. Another great crowd here in the Expo Center. The team support is so consistent this year. It's great to see how the Stingers have really taken root in the community. Sean East pushing it up, taking the quick hit off the glass. This is good hustle play by Borschier. Into East, who rarely misses, but now he rarely misses 2 in a row. Miller-Moore deflected out of bounds by the Stingers. Good transition defense by the Stingers. One of the things sometimes during the season, Kira, that the Stingers have suffered from is not getting back with a sense of purpose in their transition defense, but they certainly did that there.
Well, and it's such a tough thing to do, to be able to put pressure on the offensive glass, but also making sure you're getting back in transition at the same time. Like, you can't have too many people stuck behind, because then, you know, especially with a team like Calgary, they're going to get that 2-on-1, that 3-on-2, whatever it is, so easily, because they move the ball so quick up the floor. So you want to go after your shots, and you want to make sure you put pressure that way, but you have to be so aware if they're getting out to run that you need to be in defense mode sooner.
Nice push by the Stingers. Again, short-arming it is Lindsay, coming up short. Offensive foul now called on Evan Gilliard II. Turning the ball over to the Stingers, who lead 8-6. Team fouls are no issue so far, 2 for the Stingers. That was the first foul called on the Surge. Oftentimes you'll see Nick Hornsby go to a point forward position, bringing the ball up, as he's doing right now. Scotty Lindsay again on a nice hustle play by Borschier. He does all the little things you don't see in the stat sheet, but the Stingers have missed a lot of bunnies right now.
He's got 2 old boards already, Borschier does.
Yeah, Borschier does. He just all those hustle plays. Short. CEBL fans, sign up for a Neo credit card to receive a $25 bonus and enter to win a Neo Championship Weekend VIP experience. Learn more at join.cc/CEBL. Osaboyan at the free throw line, misses the front end of 2, and of course the crowd is very, very interested because of the potential to win a burger at Carl's Jr. if he missed the second. Looky there, there's a burger. There's a burger in the house.
The last time I was at a game that happened, I forgot to get my ticket on the way out, so I won't forget today.
I don't know if they give it to the talent, to be honest. So
I just won't tell them that.
Second foul called on the Calgary Surge. Stingers have been a little bit, I think, tentative so far, kind of feeling out the Surge. Calgary coach not happy with that call. Nice cut by the Stingers. Saw contact on the reach around, so it will be Stinger ball side out. Ambrose Hilton has not touched the basketball so far, and he's been such a factor for the Stingers this year. Sean East doing what Sean East does, finding a way to score no matter what the situation is. Brown with a nice, quick headman from Gillard, who looks like he has been playing all season with the Surge. Brown hitting the 3, bringing it to 10-9. Nick Hornsby, on occasion, like you mentioned, he takes risk. Let's just call it what it is. Nick makes risky passes. When they work, they're great. When they don't, that's what happens.
In their game against Red Deer, watching the chaos that kind of ensued in target time, like Nick Hornsby was a huge reason they won that game. He was coming up with offensive boards, defensive boards. He had 2 really huge tie-ups to give us, or to give the Stingers a chance. Like he's such a pro, and he played so good, or like maybe not even played so good. He just did the things that needed to be done in order to give them a shot every time, and he's definitely one of my favorites to watch.
Scotty Lindsay. Early in the season, Scotty was really struggling, having a hard time finding his shot. That is not the case now, and what's great to see is Scotty is always hunting his shot as he did there. Miller Moore taking the three. Ambrose Hilton on the rebound. Sean East pushing it up, looking for the opportunity. Nick Hornsby wisely posting up the smaller Gilliard under the basket rather. Sean East heads up play, lobbing it inside for the easy finish by Hornsby. Brown on the attempted dunk, failing. Sean East off to Nick Hornsby again. Nice transition basket, extending the lead out to 8. 3:34 left to go in the first quarter. Singers have really had a nice surge, no pun intended, the last couple of sequences.
Trying to be Gene Principe there, Paul?
Oh, they get worse as time goes on. Great James Brown III on a nice take. Ambrose Hilton working hard on the glass. Sean East, clever, crafty. You never know what he's going to do, but you do know what you don't want him to do, he probably will, and he'll finish, as he does there. Thomas on a tough take to the basket.
I always find it so funny how no matter what the call is, somebody reacts like it didn't happen every time.
Never a foul.
Yeah, I heard that the NBA was thinking about making it a rule that if you do that, it's just like if you do the review signal as a player, that they just use it automatically.
Okay, you're watching the CEBL basketball live on TSN Plus, CEBL Plus, powered by Tony Bet, and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL. Will be right back.
When Crystal Glass introduced our residential window line this past year, it was essential to manufacture them locally.
Crystal Glass has always been a proudly Canadian company.
We employ Canadians, we serve Canadians, and we are Canadians. So you know our windows are designed and built for our climate.
And since we've been the clear choice for glass for over 75 years, you can trust our quality and service.
Visit one of our over 50 locations across Western Canada or at crystalglass.ca. Financing is now available.
At Century Casino, the action never stops. From thrilling slots and table games to live horse racing. Enjoy delicious dining options and exceptional live entertainment. Plus, unwind in the boutique hotel. Century Casino. Welcome to the Winner's Zone.
Car launches.
DiBiase lays it up and in. To Kennedy.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Welcome back. Cal Tire, proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. We had a technical foul on Scotty Lindsay, number 24, when the timeout was called. So that sends Gillard to the line. And I'll tell you, the impact of this young man in game two, only game two, is already apparent. A, he's a very good player, but B, the team trusts him implicitly already. And you can see in the Calgary team, they want the ball in his hands because they know good things are going to happen.
Yeah, it makes their lives lots easier. They just get the ball in their hands, don't have to make a whole lot of decisions up the floor, and then just get it where you're going to be successful. He's either going to put something in or he's going to find you in a place that you're going to be successful in.
That's right. Kyrie Thomas at the free throw line. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to have a lot of people curious about this next free throw as well. Well, you know, it's interesting because you can see that in their body language. And when you deal with a 40-minute game, the ebbs and flows of the game are really apparent sometimes. That was really well defended by Elijah Miller. And Mike Nuga doing what Mike Nuga does really well, getting it up and down the court. Really glad to see Elijah Miller taking the shot early in it because he's been looking to find his confidence so far. But Calgary regains control of the basketball back in the hands of Gillard. So far, the Stingers have really done a good job on Sean Miller-Moore, or as I apologize, Ruggsy Miller-Moore. But nice low post action by the Surge, cutting it to a 6-point lead with 1:45 left to go in the first period. Kevin Bursey in the game for his first round as well. Mike Nuga on a nice pull-up. When Mike Nuga attacks Kira, good things happen.
Yeah, he's so fast. I love watching him play too. I was so happy when they got him back after last season. And he plays with so much speed and so much confidence.
And Nuga did a great job on Miller-Moore, the bigger Miller-Moore in the low block. Nice tough take by Kevin Bursey, did everything but fall through the hoop. Nuga hustling back, bodied up. Miller-Moore will go to the free throw line for 2. Ruggsy Miller-Moore has been a standard bearer since the beginning with the Calgary Surge, and continuing to have another great season. Hustling down, good call, good call. Nuga went straight up after he made contact, but the contact was made, putting Miller-Moore on the line. Miller-Moore is one of those big guards that in the past have given Edmonton a lot of trouble. You know, Kira, so it's nice to see Gilliard here. You know, the matchup between Gilliard, Elijah Miller, Sean East. You've got smaller guards, but with that lightning quickness, it has such a nice effect on the game when you see point guards of that caliber taking control of their team.
Yeah, I think a couple things with Miller-Moore. I don't think it's just Edmonton that he gives a lot of trouble to. I think he's a tough matchup across the league.
Wow. Sorry to interrupt, but what a take by Chris Smith. Going to the hoop, drawing contact on the rim. The ball still went through. Smith has been such a valuable addition. Here we go on the nice take. You see he initiates the contact, bumping on the rim, ball goes through, old-fashioned three-point play coming.
I think the lights on the backboard lit up on that one too after it went in.
Absolutely. But Smith, his physical play, the fact that he and Ambrose Hilton give you know, their height, their length, they can change shots. But what I love about Smith is his ability to play physically in the low block and to take contact as he just did there. That's been such a valuable addition to the Stingers. Calgary setting up in the low block.
And he works hard. He works hard the whole time that he's out there, Smith.
He does. Olumide Adeladoun hitting a 3, cutting the lead to 7, 18 seconds left. There's only a second difference between shot clock, game clock. Stingers hold for the last shot. Good look by Nuga, doesn't go through, but the Stingers in a very entertaining first quarter with a 24-17 lead. We're going to take a break right now. You're watching the CEBL Basketball Live on TSN Plus, CEBL Plus, powered by Tony Bet, and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL.
Throwing it up and throwing it down.
Sterling Homes is a Qualico company. We've been building homes in the Edmonton and surrounding areas for over 70 years. We have an unwavering commitment to our customer experience and have been selected as the Consumer Choice Award winner for 6 years running.
What people don't see behind the walls is the care and attention that goes into building their home. Everybody that's involved in the home, treat that home like it's their own, and that's what separates us from other builders.
We're more than a car dealership. We're part of something bigger. We're part of this city. Go Nissan is proud to fuel the fans, the families, and the fierce energy that makes Edmonton go. With 3 local dealerships, we're here to keep the city moving. Go Stingers, go Nissan.
Okay, welcome back to the CEBL. We are having a technical problem. Sarah was talking. Welcome back to Hall D. Second quarter starting 24-17. Edmonton Stingers as we get ready to go. A couple of things jumped out at me, Kira. 6 assists to just 2 turnovers for the Stingers. 1 assist to 4 turnovers for Calgary. Evan Gilliard, 3 points, 2 turnovers, and 1 steal. So I thought one of the things that stood out to me in the first quarter was the Stingers did a really nice job of making Calgary look really uncomfortable with what they were trying to do. Miller Moore was taking 1, 2, 3 dribbles more than he normally likes to when he's attacking. That shows good on-ball defense, but also good help defense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they know exactly what Calgary wants to get, and they're doing a really good job taking that away. Trying to put pressure on the ball early, making sure they're getting back in transition, and yeah, just making them step outside their game a little bit.
Nice take by Brown, well defended by Smith. As we have Nuga bringing it up the court, we're going with the 2 bigs here, Ambrose Hilton and Smith on the front line with Osborne and Miller rounding it out. Turnover by the Stingers. Surge basketball. Both teams going deep into their bench right now. Deladoon, Gilgeous-Glasgow, Brown.
Well, and Paula Deladoon is one of those key players for the Surge coming off the bench. He put up a 3 just before the end of the first quarter, and he is a bit of a hometown hero in Calgary. He is from that city. And he went to Bishop O'Byrne High School, and then he went south. He spent 2 seasons playing ball at Ohio University before moving to Winona State, and then Canada called him back. Most recently, he's been playing at Niagara University. Definitely one of the players the Stingers need to keep an eye on when he is off the bench.
And interestingly enough, from my vantage point, is that's my alma mater at Winona State University. So
small world.
So, but yeah, it is a small world for sure. But to have a it's always great to have a hometown player on your team.
Absolutely.
Stingers have given up a couple of offensive rebounds a couple of times. They've had a hard time getting a body on the ball. Good hustle by Calgary, Pickett on a hard take. Nice take, but good follow-up by the big guy, Javonte Brown.
That was one of the things that stuck out to me in the first, just off the stat sheet, was Stingers out rebounding 16-12. I think that's going to be such a huge key to this game, but Calgary comes up, they've got 3 rebounds already, I think, so definitely a point of contention for the Surge. They gotta get their misses, they gotta get to the glass.
Well, especially now when you got your 2 bigs in, you don't want to be giving up offensive rebounds, but oftentimes, as you know, Kira, when you're guarding the 3-point line, it's that middle range rebound. You're not necessarily getting the soft rebounds off the rim, the long rebounds that everybody, you always have to have 5 people going to the glass when you're on defense. We have a 5-point game. Calgary's had a pretty good start, really, to quarter number 2. Stingers a little flat out of the gate. Well defended by Smith as Pickett pulled up for the 3. Sean East back in the game, along with Miller, along with Hornsby. Uncharacteristic, I think, rush shot by East there, controlled by Calgary. Pickett handling the ball, and the much smaller Miller out front. Jump ball well defended by Miller. It will be Stinger ball on the call. Tay Donald making his first appearance tonight. Tay, one of the youth sports players on the Stinger lineup, coming in for Elijah Miller with 8:08 left to go in the second quarter. Donald will be picked up by the very seasoned and experienced Gilliard. Isaiah Osborne with the ball over to Hornsby on the screen and roll with Smith. Tough shot. Chris Smith, tough fadeaway shot deep into the shot clock, extending the Stinger lead out to 7.
When they execute their offense, they look so good. I think that's one of the reasons Stingers always have such a tough start to their seasons. It takes them a little bit to catch on to the concepts of what they're trying to do, but once they actually start to execute with good spacing, it looks so nice.
Oh, it does. Stingers had an opportunity on the fast break, got a little ahead of themselves. Pass little out of the reach of Isaiah Osborne. As we go into our break, you're watching the CEBL Basketball live on TSN Plus. CEBL Plus powered by Tony Bet and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL.
Every jump, every pivot, every heartbeat on the court, precision matters. Mayfair Diagnostics is proud to be the official medical imaging provider of the Calgary Surge. Mayfair provides a variety of medical imaging services, including MRI, ultrasound, X-ray, and numerous other services. With 15 locations in Calgary and area, Mayfair brings the clarity when it counts. Because when the pressure is on, performance starts with precision.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun, or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Welcome back to Hall D. Calgary Surge, Edmonton Stingers, full house again. New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys today by visiting cebl.ca. We have a little bit of a delay getting play started again. Whatever was the problem is now fixed. Thomas into Gilliard. Play resuming. Calgary down 7. Stingers have done a good job again. Defensively, Calgary has not been able to find its rhythm as of yet.
Speaking of that defense, Paul, Coach Baker just telling the Stingers in that break there, he wants to see faster transitions. They've been getting a lot of rebounds, but he feels they're putting their head down, they're dribbling. He wants them to push it up the floor faster.
Nice shot by Pickett, cutting the lead to 5. Osborne with his first shot attempt. Gilliard with the rebound, pushing it up, looking heads up. Collin is big, looking for the screen. Brown on the roll. drag pass out to the corner. Deep three, two good plays in a row, cutting the lead down to 2. And the thing about the 3-ball, Kira, it changes things so quickly. Osborne on a strong move to the basket, coming off the glass, rimming out. Calgary with a chance to tie or go up with the 3.
We were talking about the stats that stuck out to us, and one of them was there hadn't been a lead change. The Stingers took control of that whole quarter, so good opportunity here.
Stingers battling underneath. Calgary, I think, has to be pointed out. They've done a good job of crashing the offensive glass tonight. The Stingers at times have been caught flat-footed, especially on the long rebounds. So Calgary ball on the sideline. Interception by Smith. 32, they're going to call that a clear path foul. We'll be looking, I think, at the replay here. Smith stepped in. Smith stepped in, and the official deemed that he had the ability to go clear path, so got in front. I guess that's the call that needs to be made.
He gets that. That's a layup.
It is. 2 free throws for Chris Smith and possession of the ball. 5:57 left. Stingers up by 2.
Those ones are going to be so tough because you're not necessarily, like, you're reaching out to grab the ball, and then when they cut in front of you, you're not necessarily trying to hit them at all, but you got to come back to the ball.
Absolutely.
Any contact made, it's theirs. Not yours then.
Get cash back on Stingers ticket purchases at CEBL.ca/Neo when using your Neo credit card. Sign up now and receive a $25 bonus. Speaking of bonus, that's exactly what the Stingers get right here, a bonus possession. Extend their lead to 4. Almost lifted. Hornsby on one of his patented, clever look away, freeze your defender plays, reverse layup, good, extending the lead to 6 for the Stingers. 30-24, 5:35 to go in the first half.
One good on Smith to be able to keep his balance there. He went real high up on his tippy toes on that fake, and he was able to keep composure and not travel. I think is what made the defender bite so much.
Absolutely. Mason Bourchier taking one of the rare shots that he does take, as he is a facilitator, not someone looking to score. Gilliard seeing a mismatch. Broken play results in a three-point conversion for the Surge, cutting the lead from 6 to 3, 5 minutes to go, halfway through the second quarter. Chris Smith putting it on the deck. Nice move. The big guy can do it.
Oh, that was nice. That was so nice.
Going in for the big slam. Now defending in the low block against Brown. Successful. But the Stingers at the rim right now are having trouble.
Well, they can't leave him alone down there. Like, that big is huge. They have to send some help. Smith is working, but he's got to be able to push him back a little more, but then it can't be 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times, and plus, I mean, Smith is working hard, but the rest of the Stingers were kind of caught watching there. Again, we've got Calgary heating up from the 3-point line. My goodness, number 23, Olamide Adeladune, 2 threes in a row, tying the game up with 4:12 to go. So the Surge lives up to its name. I mean, this is low-hanging fruit. Calgary Surge, of course, but they lived up to their name in the second quarter here, Kira, with coming back from being down 7, tying the game up. And you know what? They have been, I think, much more the aggressor on, they have been much more aggressive on the offensive glass than the Stingers have been on the defensive glass.
Yeah, I think the Surge are the truest to their name in the league. Like, I feel like that's always how they are. They're so athletic. They play with so much speed and transition and emotion, and it comes out into their game, which can be a positive and a negative, I think, for them. But they always do. They always have some crazy comeback. Like, I mean, I remember a couple years ago in Target time, they had that comeback against the Stingers. That was one of the craziest comebacks I've ever seen, and it was with them.
Coming up at the half, the mid-season awards from CEBL Weekly. From a recent CEBL Weekly episode, Sarah will interview Calgary's head coach Caleb Canales as we will be breaking down the stats from the first half, and we'll revisit Kira's players to watch, presented by Tony Beck. So great halftime content. Make sure you stick around and hear about the mid-season awards from the CEBL Weekly. So Stingers, Coach Baker, Sarah, did you get any insights from him?
Sorry, Paul, I actually jumped into the surge timeout there. So it's Coach Canales I was listening to, and what a difference a quarter makes, right? The confidence, the optimism. He just kept telling his team, we're here now, we're in it. One shot, one rebound. They get one chance, and we're going down the court the other way.
Coach Canales very unhappy with that call, but I would just call that experience. The experience of Sean East II, able to get his defender off the ground, leaning into him. Sean drew the contact, goes to the free throw line for 2. And that's 2 fouls on Gilliard, a player that, of course, the Surge did not want to get into foul trouble before halftime. 3:49 to go. Sean East at the line. We have Borsier, Nuga, Sean East, Kevin Bursey, and Nick Hornsby. Actually, interesting lineup combination right now, Kira, as the Stingers are playing small ball.
One of the things I was thinking about with this point guard matchup was the experience piece. Like, I know they're both young guys, but in a tight game, you know, the composure, like, I think Sean East is such a gamer, and I like his composure. The fact that he didn't get to play in the matchup in the last one, I think he played 11 minutes, like, that's going to motivate him a lot too. But just those, you know, that a little bit of experience can go a long way, and I think that that's going to add to this matchup for sure.
For sure, and speaking of big plays, play by Brown III, hitting a 3. Hornsby right back, putting the Stingers back up by 1, but Calgary actually took the lead for a moment. Great play by Nick Hornsby, who has really ratcheted up his offensive game, particularly attacking the basket. Foul called on the Stingers. It has been a low foul game right now, particularly on in the second quarter, Kira. Neither team being at the free throw line that often.
If I had to guess, by the end of the game, it'll be a bit of a different story.
Always is.
Yeah, and
Always
I think there were more technicals in their last game than I'd seen in quite a while. So
absolutely.
I feel like it'll balance out as the game goes on.
No question about it. Into the game for the first time today is Aaron Rooms. Aaron was gone from the Stingers for a while. He was playing for Canada's 3x3 national team at the World Cup recently, and now back in the lineup with his first appearance for today. Stingers have been doing a really nice job of keeping Gilliard off balance. Nice cut by Bursey, nice find by Sean East II.
Oh my goodness, that pass.
It was a great pass on a great cut. Nick Hornsby trying to take the charge, but called for the blocking foul.
It was good ball movement by the Surge there.
Really good ball movement. Nice touch passes, keeping the ball rotating on the perimeter. Hornsby definitely moving. Good call by the officials. Sideline out of bounds to the Surge. 2:24 left in the first half. 38-35 Edmonton Stingers. Miller Moore, who's been pretty quiet so far, taking the attack. Nice steal by Hornsby, doing the stuff he does so well.
Take the first one.
Aaron Rooms on a shot I think he'd probably want back if he could get it. Calgary kicking it down. Miller Moore, who I said has been quiet, all of a sudden speaks up with a three-point shot, knotting the game at 38 with just under 2 minutes to go. Everything but through the basket as the Surge go down with a chance to take the lead. Gilliard, who had been quiet, hits the shot, putting the Surge up by 3. 1:32 left to go in the 1:32 left to go in the second quarter, and we have seen Kira, the Calgary Surge, come all the way back. It was clearly in the favor of the Edmonton Stingers in quarter number 1. But quarter number 2 has been all Calgary.
When it started with their offensive rebounding, they came out the start of that quarter and they went really hard at the glass. They had a couple really easy buckets because they just had 2 or 3 guys in there just tapping it back and forth to each other. So that was something obviously that they talked about and implemented right away, and that changed the energy of the game. All of a sudden the Stingers didn't feel so in control anymore.
Well, and not feeling in control, and what I would say as well, they lost control because their effort, the Calgary effort went up, Edmonton Stingers' effort went down, particularly around the glass. We talked about that several times, is that Calgary showed much more energy and much more of a purposeful commitment to crashing the offensive glass, while the Stingers, you know what, they became spectators.
Well, and I think one of the things you have to expect when you play the Surge is that you have to be able to ride the wave. You know that they're going to have really strong pushes and they're going to get easy buckets. They're going to have those big-time energy shots, those dunks, those lobs, like all of those high-energy plays. That's what pushes them, right? So you have to be able to maintain composure, and it's not 40 minutes, depends on how long, I guess, but you know, it's a full game, so you have to make sure that you can kind of ride that wave and continue to do the things that make you successful. And
it's a game of runs, isn't it? So Calgary's had a great run in the second quarter. I'm sure Coach Baker, Sarah, when Sarah comes back on, we can maybe hear what Coach Baker was saying in that timeout. But we're looking for Edmonton to be much more energized as they move forward. Tough play, Gilliard. Aaron Rooms doing what Aaron Rooms does, which is hustle plays.
Nice play.
Rooms getting on the deck as he did. Tough take, good defense by Hornsby there. Shawnee's getting out in transition, setting the Stingers up. I think they really need a good possession right now. Aaron Rooms again hustling on the offensive glass. Hornsby picking up a foul. 39 seconds left to go in the half. That's only the 4th foul, so neither team in the bonus at this juncture.
I like that foul.
It's a good foul.
Yeah.
Prevents any kind of transition basket to give them more momentum.
Yeah.
Gives you an opportunity to set your defense in the half court. Rooms coming out. Donald, both U Sports players switching in for each other. Coach Baker looking for a defensive stop here to end the half. Gilliard on a bad pass at the feet of Miller Moore.
Those are so tough. The end of quarter and start of quarter possessions are so huge, and to just throw it away, that's too bad. They're important.
They're important ones for the Surge. On Stingers, on the other hand, 33.2 left to go. Looking again for a good possession, try to bring this even at halftime. Stingers running their off-ball action, trying to freeze East up. Good active hands. Actually an excellent call in that case, because the ball, Gabe Osaboyan did a good job on Sean East. Tipped the ball away from Sean. Sean went off his fingertips over half court, so it was the over and back. 15.5 seconds, so shot clock's off. And Surge have an opportunity to close the half off. Travel call, 12.5 seconds to go.
Very solid defense.
It was solid defense. Surprised that they took.
Physical.
I was surprised he took it so quickly to the basket. because you had 15 and a half seconds to go, you usually like to, usually you look for teams to run the clock down, get one shot.
Yeah.
Pick up full court, trying to slow down the great Sean East by picking him up full, 7 seconds to go.
Oh.
Sean East somehow, some way, in the trees, finds a way to come up with the basketball, draw the contact, 1.6 seconds to go. Here you can see Knight well defended, ball kicked around. Sean, again, looking for contact. Would have loved to have the and one, but will go to the line 4-2, where he is a well over a 90% free throw shooter for the season so far. As one of those rituals at the line, Kira, that are unique just to him, with the ball around the waist before the shot.
Like the Kevin Durant, the shimmy.
The shimmy, that's right.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah. Not quite the shimmy, but the round the world. 2, as is always the case with Sean, they bring him out. Jordan Baker substitutes Sean out for the last seconds of the first half, trying to avoid the contact. And we now have we have 3 free throws coming up as Kevin Bursey did something that you just can't.
I couldn't see it.
Yeah, he did something that you just can't do. Kevin fouled the Surge player, Brown the third, at half court. And we'll look at the replay right here. You see Kevin coming into him, going underneath. Got off balance, got his feet caught up. Brown the third wisely threw the ball up at the basket, so the Surge will get 3 free throws going into the half with 0.3 seconds to go. That's something you don't see every day, and if you're a Stingers fan, and certainly if you're a Stingers coach, you don't want to ever see is sending a player from the opposing team to the free throw line, going into halftime with a shot that doesn't have any chance of going in. Brown the third making the first 2.
And if it does go in, you just live with that.
You live with it.
You can test it, and if it goes in, then they've earned it.
Yeah, that's right. That's just the kind of hustle play, unintentional hustle play with consequences. Brown makes 2 out of 3.
Oh,
tremendous effort by Tay Donald as we go into halftime with the Stingers down 3 after being up 7 at the end of the first quarter. So 15-minute halftime break. You're watching the CEBL basketball live on TSN Plus, CEBL Plus, powered by Tony Bet and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL. And I think I went a little bit too quickly because we have got the halftime interview coming up with Sarah, and it looks like she has Nick Hornsby over on the sideline under the basket.
All right, so Nick, you're a leader on this team. Obviously quite a comfortable lead in the first quarter. Things really turned around in the second. What do you say now when you go back into the dressing room to your teammates?
We just get back to our values. We had a couple minutes where we were a little shaky, but that's just part of the game. Everything's going to come and go, so hopefully in the second half we can pick it back up.
Absolutely. You've had a big defensive game already tonight. Huge on the boards, 9 rebounds through 2 quarters, some steals. How critical is that to your success?
Man, I'm just trying to do whatever the team needs me to do, whether it's rebounds, steals, assists, whatever it is. I'm trying to get the team going. So.
All right, excellent. Calgary has been knocking down some threes and getting a lot more rebounds. Is boxing out what's critical here and playing tight on the threes?
I would just say their offensive rebounds. Their offensive rebounding and then getting in position to shoot threes. They made a couple threes. They're comfortable. They're feeling themselves a little bit. So we stop down in the second half. I think we'll be okay.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Nick. Appreciate that. The Stingers in a bit of a hole now in the halfway through the game, down by 3. We will be right back after this.
Calgary Surge. We kind of ripped off their jackets, their home jackets. I don't know if you remember that. Actually, you weren't here for that. Oh, another great episode. But anyways, Caleb Canales, they wear these cool jackets at home, which I think is awesome. It buys into the personality of the team where they rock with a lot of swag. Also, to be able to like corral and get these guys to buy in, a lot of star players on there between Greg Brown and, you know, obviously Jameer Nelson and Ruggsy, being able to buy into what they're doing currently defensively and offensively takes a lot, especially for a guy who's a first-year CEBL coach. So, Caleb Canales, my pick.
And you've mentioned throughout the season, especially early in the season, how this has turned into the Wild West. And to get out of the West, it's going to be a dogfight. And I think Calgary certainly impressed us with their victories. 2 victories against Vancouver Bandits, who have looked like a juggernaut all season. So certainly, when I was making this decision, it was between him and my pick is Jordan Baker. I just interviewed him, so it might seem a little biased, but it's not. I think he certainly deserves it. You know, they've won their last 3 games, impressive wins. 5 of their 6 games, the last 6 games, they've gone 5-1 as well. Just impressive set of victories for this Edmonton Stingers team, and I just did not expect them to be
picking or rolling.
I'm gonna pick. I'm sticking with this pick, Jordan Baker. You will be the coach of the year.
Okay, we have a little bit of a disagreement here. I'm picking, and I'm going with Caleb Canales. I believe he's gonna win it.
Okay, awesome. So we're both picking for here. We'll see if these picks stick at the end of the season. A lot of great candidates here for Defensive Player of the Year, but it's a matter of what's important to you. Steals, blocks, or rebounds? Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go with beef. Malcolm Duvivier. Just girth, strength, athleticism. It's all there. Anyways, look, okay. So Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go ahead and pick. Look, Duvivier is actually a really good defender, by the way. Side note on that. My pick is going to be Isaiah Moore from the Ottawa Blackjacks. He has been awesome to their defense. 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks, doing it more efficiently, so he's fouling less than Hassan Ward, fouling less than Greg Brown. I think that says something about how good of a defender he's been. Isaiah Moore, my pick.
He's been an anchor for Ottawa. I'm going west. I'm going to the other side, and I'm going with the steals. Jameer Nelson Jr. If you're talking about steals, you're talking about Jameer. 3.3 steals per game, and we're at the halfway mark in the season, and he's almost set the single-season record. So I think for that reason, I'm picking Jameer Nelson Jr., and I'm also picking him. I'm not rolling. I'm picking. I think he will be the guy at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's a good case. I think I'm going to roll. I wanted to give Isaiah a shout here because I'm not sure if he ends up winning the actual award. Maybe he does. Maybe Ottawa leaps up the standings in terms of the defense. But the voters are going to reward Calgary for how good of a defensive team they've been. And I'm picking Greg Brown over Jameer.
Awesome. And I just want to flag Simisha, too. I think he'll definitely be the conversation of the year.
We've got picks. We've got flags. We got everything.
Exactly. So we're locked in for this one. And we look forward to seeing who ends up winning this.
Are you?
The sun, yeah.
Can you really power my home?
Well, I have 4 billion years experience in powering everything. With Zeno, I can save you money, increase your home's value, make your life easier, actually make all life on Earth possible.
I run my dishwasher pretty much constantly.
I got you.
You're cool. I mean, hot. I mean, this is awkward.
Get started with a $100 bonus. Download the Play Alberta app today.
Welcome back. What a great shot of the city of Edmonton. I'll tell you what, this city is so good looking, and that just highlights it. But I don't know what could be better looking than being here in Hall D in the Expo Center for this interprovincial battle between the Calgary Surge, who lead the Edmonton Stingers 43-40 at halftime. Kira, what's jumped out at you in the first half?
I think the first quarter it was all Stingers, and then that they looked very in control, and then second quarter was all Surge. But free throw percentage, I think, was really big. I think if the Surge is able to capitalize from the line, that this game would look quite a bit different. So that's the biggest one to me.
Well, and as we look at the stats right now, there's one glaring, ugly one. 3-point percentage, 47% for the Surge. Same percentage for the Stingers, except there's a 4 missing. There's a 7%, 1 for 13 from the 3. The Surge have done an excellent job, Kira, at running the Stingers off the line and making them very uncomfortable with the 3 ball.
Well, that's one thing with the Surge's defense. They're so athletic and long that they're able to contest things from all over the floor. And you have to get your shot off that much quicker, and it puts that much more pressure. So they've done a really good job that way. But it's also one of those things, like when you shoot the ball a lot, like you're gonna have, 7% isn't something that you want, but by the end of the game, it's not gonna look like that. They shoot the ball enough, they find good shots enough that, that's gonna turn around in the second half, I have no doubt.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's go to some of our halftime highlights from the first half between the Surge and the Stingers. You can tell this is really hotly contested. Nick Hornsby on a nice cross-court pass to the 45 for the 3-pointer, the lone 3-pointer by Scotty Lindsay for the Stingers in the first half. Mike Nuga on a nice tough take that Nuga does so well with the pull-up fadeaway. And Chris Smith with one of the tougher takes of the half, finishing. That's an example by Brown of what the Surge have done to the Stingers on the offensive glass. Smith had a nice turnaround fadeaway and nice dribble take. So Chris definitely dominated the highlights at halftime for the Stingers. One thing that became very obvious too, Kira, as the half went on, is that the Surge do a very nice job of moving the ball on the perimeter.
Yeah, they looked really good in that, especially in that second quarter. Like the ball was just moving really well, touch passes, understanding, where the ball needed to get to. That one play I think we talked about earlier, they caught Nick Hornsby just a little bit off balance and got himself to the free throw
You're
line.
watching CEBL Basketball live on TSN Plus, CEBL Plus powered by Tony Bet. And Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL. We will be back after these messages for the second half of action.
Download the CEBL mobile app now.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
We've made a commitment to Championship Weekend again in 2025 in Winnipeg. I think you'll see the biggest and best Championship Weekend to date.
Get started with a $100 bonus. Download the Play Alberta app today.
Welcome back to the Expo Center, where we're watching the inter-provincial battle between the Calgary Surge and the Edmonton Stingers. I'm going to throw it over right now to Sarah Ryan, who's with Coach Canales from the Calgary Surge.
Well, Coach is busy. He's drawing up plays right now as we speak. Coach, an excellent turnaround in the second quarter. What did you like about what your team was doing?
We just got back to who we are, defense to offense, our defense activity, our rebounding. We got a couple times to get out in transition, and that's who we are. That's our brand of basketball, and we need to continue that in the second half.
So you lost Jameer Nelson Jr. to Summer League, but you picked up Evan Gilliard. What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, just super excited for Jameer and his opportunity with the Spurs. Evan fits right in. He feels like he's been here since first day of training camp. 3-level scorer, playmaker, plays 94 feet, our kind of guy.
Obviously, you're drawing up a play right now. What's the key to success now in such a close game?
Togetherness, 5 guys, gang rebounding, make sure we get back in transition and finish the game together.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck. We'll throw it back to you. Paul, Kira.
Great job, Sarah. Good to hear Coach Canales' thoughts. Interesting to hear him talk about Gilliard, who happens to be, Kira, one of your players to watch. What have you thought so far?
I think he gives a completely different feel to this Surge team. And just like Coach said, it looks like he's been there for a while. It doesn't look like he just showed up and played one game. Like, it looks like he fits in with them really well. And that's been really good to see. In terms of scoring and offensive, like a little bit underwhelming that way, but he's also distributing the ball quite well. So I enjoy watching him. I'm excited for the second half.
I would say this was probably one of the quieter halves for Sean East II, but still ends up with 12 points.
Yeah.
And off no 3-pointers.
But he's also getting to the rim and getting to the line. He's 4 for 4, so he's making sure that when he gets there, I mean, he always does. He always makes them count.
Absolutely. This is the Lotto Max path to the playoffs. We're past the halfway point of the season. Let's look at the standings in the Lotto Max path to the playoffs. Niagara River Lions have a little bit of distance out in the east over the Scarborough Shooting Stars, who had a bit of a tough Western swing at 7-7. Niagara at 9-5. In the west, you've got a logjam at the top with the Vancouver Bandits 10-3. Calgary nipping at their heels at 9-4, and the surging Edmonton Stingers at 8-6. Again, highlighting, Kira, why this game is so important. Vancouver has stumbled a little bit, but they have not fallen, and they continue to play at a very high level. But the Stingers need to get back into this race with a win tonight. Both teams know what's on the line.
Yeah, and I think this series is so big in the league every year. Like, it always comes down to they're fighting for a spot and how did the series end up. So not only is it an exciting Battle of Alberta and people get really excited for it, but it also means a lot when it comes to the postseason.
Absolutely. Lots of exciting CEBL basketball from the past couple of days across the league. Has anything stood out to you, Kira, about the results?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of exciting things happen all the time. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, like, for instance, Montreal with eking out a win against Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's been playing much better. Winnipeg has been a surprise, and not in a particularly good way. I know they're wrestling with their identity right now, trying to find themselves. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. They always seem to be in the game, but they never quite get there. And I know they're looking to get back to being much, much more competitive as we get it well into the second half of the season, with them being the host. And they're going to do a phenomenal job for the championships, for the CEBL. But that's what jumps out to me. In the West in particular, Saskatchewan started out the season similar to the Stingers, struggling a bit. But since they've added some new personnel, they have been much, much better. Here we go, second half action underway. Miller Moore on a nice fadeaway. Scotty Lindsay back in the game. Stingers come out looking a bit energized, ready to get to work. And Scotty Lindsay taking the three. He's going to go to the line for 3.
Just returning the favor. We talked about how important the first possessions are. First and last possessions are, and we foul on the 3 and start this one back up with the foul.
100%.
Balances out.
And Scotty Lindsay, his impact on the game is essential to the success of the Edmonton Stingers. So the more aggressive Scotty is, good things happen for the Stingers. It generally seems, especially when you have a shooter like Scotty, where teams are very worried about him getting going from the three-point line, when he's developed this nice mid-range and to the basket game, it really has opened up, I think, opportunities for other players. Plus, he's a great free throw shooter, shooting around 86% for the season.
Well, and putting him on the line for three immediately is really not a good thing. Like we talk about Lindsay needing to be that, offensive presence and let him see the ball go through the hoop immediately in the first possession. It's not a great look. That's
not what Calgary wants. It's certainly what the Stingers want, though. I look for Ambrose Hilton to put his mark on the game a bit more than he was able to in the first half. Nice defensive help. Battle inside. East comes up with it, looking to push the ball. Sean East making the heads-up play that he normally does. And there we go with Ambrose Hilton immediately running the court so well. Sean on the nice pass to him misses the bunny. East on the hustle play, but Ambrose Hilton on his own hustle play, putting it back in for two, giving the Stingers the lead back 44-43.
A lot of spectators in that possession.
There was a lot of time in the library. Well defended by Sean East on an up and under by Gilliard. Stinger ball. Into the hands of the point forward Hornsby. Underneath Ambrose Hilton. Ambrose Hilton looking to get involved, and Stingers looking to get him involved right away, Kira. How important is it to get your big involved early in the second half?
It's so nice to get them into a rhythm, get some touches. It also widens up your vision. If you're looking inside right away, then you're just more aware of what's going on. So I think that's really important, and I think taking advantage of the fact that nobody was back on Hornsby, giving the ball back to him right away, like he was able to create that, a bit of a head of steam and some speed to attack there. It's too easy.
Absolutely, but the thing with Ambrose Hilton that I find, and you know this as a player and as a coach, but the better you play on offense, the more touches you get, the better you become on defense. And so certainly that's been the case with Ambrose Hilton, who contested that shot as well, bodied up, straight up. Sean East pushing it on the fast break. Hornsby looking to attack. Baseline jump shot. A little bit hard on the rim. Calgary surge. 3-point lead for the Stingers, bringing it down. Brown the third looks for the quick pull. Stingers all over the board, controlled by Lindsay, up to Nick Hornsby. Back to Scotty, who's going to pull from deep. Holds the follow through. Show that profile, Scotty Lindsay, as he lets the ball go through the hoop, giving the Stingers a 6-point lead, off to a great start. You're watching the CEBL basketball live on TSN+. CEBL Plus powered by Tony Bet and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL. We'll be back right after these messages.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
At Century Casino, the action never stops. From thrilling slots and table games to live horse racing. Enjoy delicious dining options and exceptional live entertainment. Plus, unwind in the boutique hotel. Century Casino. Welcome to the Winner's Zone.
I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Walk with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Whip this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do.
fans, Red Tag wants to fly you out to the championship weekend in Winnipeg. Enter now at cbl.ca/Red Tag for your chance to win round-trip flights, a 4-night hotel stay, game tickets, and VIP passes. We had a great contest in that break too, Kira, with another young man hitting a deep 3 at the buzzer to win the big prize. But the big prize tonight is between the Surge and the Stingers as they battle it out in this all-important game. Stingers fouling as Thomas goes to the basket. He'll go to the line for 2. Well, no, baseline, my mistake.
That transition from the halftime or the break prize into the real prize tonight was good. I'm impressed with that one.
Thank you. Thank you. Miller Moore struggling to keep control of it. Bourchier squaring him up, doing the outstanding job he always does on defense. Good help side by Ambrose Hilton. Mishandled, excellent defensive pressure by the Stingers, rattling the Surge, forcing the turnover. It has been all Stingers early in quarter number 3, Kira.
You know what I find interesting is normally your benches call out the 10, 9, 8, but their benches are so far away when they're across like that. I mean, the players got to be aware anyways, but an interesting thing I hadn't thought about anywhere else.
Absolutely. Now Mason Bourchier just hit his 3. Mason does not take many shots. He does the dirty work, but when he hits it, it matters. Nobody competes any harder than Mason Bourchier. So far, Calgary's been settling for 3s as the Stingers have extended a now 11-point lead on the pass by Hornsby to the streaking Ambrose Hilton. Put it down, big fella. Make it known. What a play.
He got up there. I didn't think that had a chance when it left his hand.
It was a great pass. Another
I'm so
3.
Sorry, I doubted you.
Another 3 attempt picked off. Scotty Lindsay saying, take that. Take that. It is all Stingers. They are on fire. They are feeling it. Less than 4 minutes into the quarter, they have taken over. The bleeding stopped as Miller Moore drops down the 3 on the nice penetration by Gilliard on the kick out.
Needed that one.
Scotty Lindsay doing a heat check for good reason. Saying, give me the ball.
You know it's good when he gets a big smile because most of the time he's
pretty stoic. Yep.
So he's smiling down the floor, you know it's good.
Absolutely, yes. I think that was a call that we're going to see Perry Stoppard make on Gilliard on a carry for the ball. You see Ambrose Hilton raising his arms to the crowd responding. They're feeling it as well. Here's the nice pass from Hornsby to the streaking Ambrose Hilton, who's putting it down. I tell you, Kira, you know this, when your posts run the court, the sun shines a little brighter.
Oh, it's so nice. It opens up things for everybody else too, but it can be such a thankless job. So when you get a nice play like that, it makes it all worth it.
Scotty Lindsay continues his torrid pace on a beautiful floater, getting the touch. Thomas going in, doing the Jordan wraparound, doesn't go. Oh. Nice recovery by Calgary, giving 3 shots, calling the foul on Sean East, who took the 3 in transition. Sean East will go to the line for 3 as the Stingers have been all over the boards, both on offense and defense. They've been running the court with purpose and passion. Great passing, and then of course it doesn't hurt that you're hitting everything. The hoop looks like a rain barrel right now as opposed to a golf hole. So it has been the Stingers' quarter so far, but as we know, it's a game of runs. We have a 16-point lead. It's gone from a 3-point deficit to a 16-point lead in under 5 minutes with a 93% free throw shooting Sean East II at the free throw line, Kira. But we know this means a lot, but it doesn't mean everything. Coach Canales has been assessed a technical foul. So in addition to the 3 free throws for Sean East, we're going to get 2 technical fouls, and they're going to get possession of the basketball as well. These are the tough times when you're a coach, Kira, and you're a coach. You know, when you let the emotion of the game get to you and you do things that you know you want the officials to hear where you disagree with them, but you do things that hurt your team, not just a little bit, but in a big, big way.
Well, and it's such a delicate balance too. Like there are times you want to take technicals to, you know, rally behind your team and show them that you're in it with them and that you're going to battle for them and the things that matter.
Exactly.
But trying to find that balance between is this going to hurt us or help us is a difficult thing, and then you throw that emotion in there as well, and it makes that even more cloudy.
Absolutely. Now we talked about at halftime. How the winds of change can happen. At halftime, we had the Stingers 1 for 13 from the 3, and I don't have stats for the second half, but I'm looking forward to seeing them when we get them because it's been very different in the third quarter. Mason Borsier gets called for the foul as Gilliard tries to turn the corner and get to the rim. 20-point lead, 5 minutes to go. It is a 23-point spread in the third quarter, Kira, by the Stingers. 23, down 3, now up 20. What a swing.
Yeah, it's great, and they're playing wonderful, but this team is so dangerous that you cannot get comfortable. Like, there is so much game left, and this team is so athletic, and when they score, it can be in bunches and with such high energy. So, you know, you can't fall asleep here. You need to make sure that you're twisting the knife, as they say.
Isaiah Osborne on a brilliant pass to Ambrose Hilton, who drops it back for the dunk by Nick Hornsby. The place is alive, it's electric, it's excited. What an atmosphere, what a moment, what a way to get the crowd into it. Fantastic 5 minutes, 19 seconds by the Edmonton Stingers in this third quarter. You know it's going right when you throw the long pass like Isaiah Osborne did, who drops it off to Nick Hornsby for the dunk.
Well, it's hustling. Like, they were there, right? So often teams can get like lackadaisical in transition. You think they're just going to take that layup, and all of a sudden it goes off their hand or they miss. So being there is, you know, it allowed that to happen. It seems like such a small detail, but it's so important.
Well, it is so important. I mean, hustle, energy, excitement about playing, excitement about your teammates. And one of the things that has been very apparent about the Edmonton Stingers this season is they have really come together as a unit. The trust that they have in each other, the genuine chemistry that they have both individually, collectively as a team, and just the interdependence that they have as a team. They really genuinely like each other, like playing together, and like being successful together.
Well, and if you saw it, I don't know if it showed on the stream, but Ambrose Hilton was running around there trying to find Hornsby to celebrate with him because he was so excited about it. And like that, you know, when you're having fun, you're always going to do well. It needs to be fun.
It does need to be fun. Sarah, what do we got?
Well, all smiles and enthusiasm over there. Coach is telling me that was Keon Ambrose Hilton's first dunk of the season, so they were all very excited. But then Sean East, to Kira's point, bringing him back down, saying, hey, it's not over yet.
And just to show about Calgary's ability to get back to business, Brown on the inside on the offensive glass. Gets the offensive rebound twice. 2 pushbacks to on the beautiful, but answered right away by Scotty Lindsay on a cutting Nick Hornsby. And I think that's one of the things I've noticed about the Stingers this year is their ability to read defenses and cut the way they do to get nice finishes around the basket. Good passing, good heads-up play, great cuts.
Such a beautiful pass.
It was a great pass. And a great cut. Oftentimes in basketball today, teams rely exclusively on the pick and roll and spotting up for threes. Got the soft touch, dropping through. That was Adeladin getting 2 points for the Surge, who are desperately trying to come back. Ambrose Hilton making a tough move, but well defended by the Surge. Once again, You can see with Hornsby the determination to push the ball up the court, and Calgary's getting flat-footed, getting caught flat-footed. Hornsby kept his head up, saw the opportunity to attack, went in for the nice teardrop mid-range.
That's a tough early shot. You got to hit that one.
You got to hit that one, and you know, we talk about the rain barrel golf hole metaphor for how big the rim looks. When you're tight and you're feeling like you've got to hit this next shot, that three-point shot is a lot tougher to hit. It's much easier when you're in the flow of things, don't you find, Kira?
Definitely, and I think, you know, some of the things that Calgary was doing, like the ball movement that they had in that second quarter, I think has completely gone away. They don't have a lot of flow and rhythm with each other right now.
And plus, the Stingers' defense has picked way up since they started hitting their shots.
Yeah, it's a cycle. It's definitely a cycle.
Relocation by Michael Nuga. Great heads-up play by Ambrose Hilton, who has shown both his scoring and playmaking abilities in this third quarter.
You know, before the game, Paul, I was mentioning to Coach Baker that Calgary really has their scoring spread out, but tonight it is really the Stingers. We are seeing a number of players with double-digit scoring. Obviously, Sean East, Nick Hornsby, Scotty Lindsay, Chris Smith is almost there, so really sharing that wealth around.
They certainly are. Nice shot by Sean Lindsay. Kiss off the glass. Three-point shot. Coming back. Adeladoon again hitting a shot. He's been a guy that has brought the Surge back. We have a 22-point lead with 1:56 left to go, but Calgary's showing a bit of a surge themselves, pun intended, as they have been slowly cutting into the lead of the Stingers, cutting the deficit to 20, but Kira, it's still 20.
Yeah, and that still is not enough.
No.
With this team, right? Like they're on a bit of a lull right now, but they go back to getting those rebounds and get some energy plays. Like they'll be right back in this game if the Stingers aren't careful. But they need to find some life for sure. They just look really flat out there at the moment. Like picked up a little bit, but still looking pretty flat.
Now put your coaching hat on for a second. One of the things, when you have a big lead that has been generated the way the Stingers have generated, very hot shooting. And we'll come back to this. I have a message I have to read, but think about this, Kira. How do you now manage, but now that the adrenaline is calming down a bit, how do you manage the team and you have to get subs in? Get cash back on Surge ticket purchases at cebl.ca/Neo. When using your Neo credit card, sign up and receive a $25 bonus. So how do you do that?
Ask me that question again, please,
I'm
Paul.
sorry, I goofed you up there. How do you manage a team that's been so hot and has gone out so far? Do they keep the energy up, or do you have to settle things down a bit and really focus again on your defense?
Yeah, I think you need to focus in on your defense. Like, you want to keep the energy up as well. Like, I don't think that's something they ever want to go away from. That's a strength of the Surges, especially. But you get that from your defense. Like, bear down, get some touches, get out and run in transition, get a dunk, you know, do something that's going to give you a little bit of life. And I think that energy comes from the defense, so that needs to be a focus.
Or that, you can throw it in the high post and down to Ambrose Hilton for a dunk. Don't you think, Sarah?
The zone defense, they're trying to sort out that Stingers offense and find a way to stop them from getting through, but that wasn't it.
That wasn't it, and the Stingers have done a much better job on the zone. But speaking of doing a much better job, we have Olomide Adeladoon again hitting a three, and he has been a monster tonight from behind the three-point line.
It's because I called him a hometown hero, Paul. That's it.
That's right. Beautiful pass on the interior as the Stingers keep putting it. Oh. Keep putting it down. But speaking of putting it down, my. goodness.
Like, that just put the whole arena into shock, I think.
I think so.
Oh
and
my,
for
nobody
good-
even cheered. It was,
Yeah, but that was a heck of a dunk.
that's what I mean. It was so crazy. I don't know if people really knew what they saw.
Absolutely. Pickett throwing it down. Osborne going to the hoop, drawing the foul. 43.2 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Isaiah Osborne played this last season in Israel. Back with the Stingers again. Isaiah was with the Stingers 2 years ago. Nice to have him back in a Stingers uniform again. Great shooter, but also a crafty guy and can get to the rims. He's a long player, and he's capable of doing more than just taking the spot up three.
Yeah, I really like his game quite a bit. Defensively, too, he works hard. He gets a good contest on almost everything. He stays pretty balanced. I like watching him.
He's deceptively long. Like, you look at him, you think he's 6'5". He's probably more like 6'6". Really long arms. And I've seen him contest and bother a lot of good shooters in his time in the CEBL.
Well, and with his quickness, like, he's been guarding, their point guard, right? So not only is he long, but he's quick and smart.
We've got a ball out of bounds on a long rebound on a three-point shot, well contested by the Stingers. And one of the things that we have seen, and we're going to have a challenge, it looks like, now on the possession arrow. See what this is going to be. Right now, the call is for it to be Stinger basketball, but Coach Canales has decided that he is going to challenge this. Every possession matters, even with 30.4 seconds to go in the third quarter. Stingers up 82-62. Think of that. Halftime score, down 3. To have the kind of offensive burst that the Stingers have. This is the kind of offensive run that you dream of every season.
Yeah, well, Paul, to that point, just got notified this is the highest scoring run of any team in the third quarter. 42 points in the third quarter for the Stingers, the highest in league history.
Highest in league history. We have witnessed, I'm so glad you told me that and told us that and our listeners that. Sarah, we have just witnessed history, and I'll tell you, Kira, it has been something to watch.
It's so fun. You can tell they're having so much. It makes me jealous. I want to be playing. When you're in rhythm and flow and things are just dropping and you're finding each other in such successful positions, like, you feel lucky. It's the most fun that you can have. And watching them do it and celebrate with each other, I'm jealous.
It's great jealousy to have. The fact that you're made jealous by us watching the highest scoring quarter in CEBL history, this is fun jealousy. The challenge failed. It wasn't really even close. Isaiah Osborne, tough in the high post. Sean East, who's done a great job of moving the ball, finding the open. Isaiah Osborne misses. Headman up to Miller Moore. Miller Moore attacking the basket. He's going to draw the foul, go to the line for 2. It's only the third personal foul on the Stingers this quarter, along with scoring 42 points. They have done a great job defensively and have not fouled often at all. But Miller Moore now going as he had a strong take to the basket in transition. The ever so hot Scotty Lindsay back into the game, replacing Chris Smith. Ambrose Hilton, I don't think, has sat this quarter, and no wonder. When you're getting a guy being that productive here, you got to kind of run with him until he needs a break, because he's been so effective.
Yeah, and such a good energy to have out there.
The guy's amazing. Like, he is such a likable guy. 10.6 seconds left to go. Isaiah into Sean, who takes the 3. Ambrose Hilton on the great effort and follow-up. Sean East called for the foul, 1.8 seconds left to go. However, the Stingers are not in bonus as of yet, so it will be the Surge's ball. They have to go full court. What a quarter. Tay Donald coming into the game. Want to substitute for the players. Ambrose Hilton getting his first rest. Kevin Bursey back in the game as well. giving Scotty Lindsay, who has 3 personal fouls and also about 27 of that 42 points. I'm exaggerating, but not by much. Great quarter by the Edmonton Stingers. Outstanding quarter of basketball. Took control. You're watching CEBL basketball live on TSN plus CEBL Plus, powered by Tony Bent, Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL, as we watch the fantastic dunks that took place in this third quarter of basketball. 82-64 Edmonton Stingers. We'll be back right after these messages.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk? And I'll add spinach and ginger. And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made, your way.
Are you...
The sun, yeah.
Can you really power my home?
Well, I have 4 billion years experience in powering everything. With Zeno, I can save you money, increase your home's value, make your life easier, actually make all life on Earth possible.
I run my dishwasher pretty much constantly.
I got you.
You're cool. I mean, hot. I mean, this is awkward.
Sterling Homes is a Qualico company. We've been building homes in the Edmonton and surrounding areas for over 70 years. We have an unwavering commitment to our customer experience and have been selected as the Consumer Choice Award winner for 6 years running.
What people don't see behind the walls is the care and attention that goes into building their home. Everybody that's involved in the home, treat that home like it's their own, and that's what separates us from other builders.
Next bucket wins. Target score time is the best time of a game. The energy, the drama, that anything can happen. Oh my goodness! Can you believe this guy? Big players step up in big time. He is cooking.
Justin Wright Foreman, top side for the win. Good. Get out the salami and cheese, mama. Onions, baby onions.
Welcome back to the Expo Center. The Stingers up 82-64 in the quarter break there. Coach Canales telling his team he wants to see them get back to within 10 by the time the target time starts. There is something else big that's coming up for the Surge. They have another game slated for the Calgary Saddle Dome. That's going to happen on July 9th. Last season, Calgary set an all-time CEBL league attendance record with 12,327 fans at the Saddle Dome. And of course, right now, Calgary is the place to be with the Stampede going on. The team calling this July 9th matchup Surge to Stampede. That's sure to be an electric game against the Montreal Alliance. And then the Surge will also end their regular season at the Saddle Dome against the reigning CEBL champions, the Niagara Riverhawks, on August 10th. As for here in Edmonton, a great crowd, of course. I did get the attendance numbers, just over 3,000 fans here in the Expo Center.
Looks and feels like it. It feels like 10,000 in that. It felt like 10,000 in that third quarter because the noise,
loud.
They were loud.
Except for when Brown dunked it. It was quiet in here.
It was like, ooh.
That was nuts.
Mike Nuga on a Mike Nuga take. Took a hard fall afterwards. Fortunately, looks like Mike feels fine. Stepping up to the line, hitting the front end of the 2 free throws. Now being taken out by Mason Bourchier. Get a little attention from the trainers. Mike Nuga, he's been such a valuable addition along with Mason as he's been added into this rotation. Calgary, 9 minutes, 42 seconds left in the game. But of course, we know that means target time, and Tay Donald comes in. Unfortunately, first thing out of the gate is a three-point shot by the man who has been on fire for Calgary tonight from the 3.
Both teams need to stop fouling outside the 3.
Oh, I know. Adeladoon has been one of the guys keeping the Calgary, the Surge, even around and in contention with his ability to hit the three tonight. Knocks down the first two, cutting the lead to 18, 9:38 to go. 84-66 after the record-setting third quarter performance by the Stingers.
Yeah, wow, he's 5 for 8.
5 for 8 from deep. And as I said, he's kept them relevant. And now he just knocks down 3 free throws, cutting the lead to 17. This is the type of lead you've got to nurture, you've got to value, and the Stingers have to stay focused because this Surge team, as you pointed out earlier, Kira, they're very capable of making a strong comeback. Nick Hornsby on a fade, mid-range shot, comes off the rim. Calgary with the ball. Mason Boursier standing up, Miller Moore. Again, bothering in the low block, tipping the ball away, keeping Miller Moore from trying to take the size advantage away.
I like seeing Donald and Boursier not like back down from him at all. Like both of them really physical anytime he's tried to take them into the low block. And yeah, I like the confidence that they're playing defense with.
Well, and I agree. And Mason goes in, plays bigger than his size, does such a great job of being physical and staying in front of him. Excellent defense by the Stingers. Tay Donald. Tay Donald taking it hard to the basket. I'm not quite sure what the call is on this. It looked like
so it was just an out of bounds, and they were giving it to the Stingers. So
I think what they thought was that the ball was deflected out of Donald's hand as he went to the basket. Crew chief Perry Stothert making the call. Elijah Miller taking the ball out for the Stingers under the basket. Boursier, Miller, Hornsby, Donald, and Smith in for Donald on the follow-up. We've seen a lot of wraparounds that haven't quite gone in tonight.
There's been a couple that I've like taken a breath in, expecting something fantastic, and they just roll out.
Absolutely, but a great follow-up by Donald as he comes in. Boursier taking control. Stingers have numbers. Boursier had a nice feed to Nick Hornsby, who filled the lane, finished at the rim, propels the Stingers to a 21-point lead, 8:09 left. Calgary hosts the Surge at the Saddle Dome game when they welcome the Montreal Alliance Wednesday night. Tip-off at 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Catch the game nationwide on TSN. And the Edmonton Stingers will head out on a 4-game road trip, starting with a visit to Scarborough to play the Shooting Stars. Tip-off Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, 5:30 Mountain. Well, just when you think Calgary is going to start inching its way back into it, the Stingers have shown a great deal of resolve. And I think, Kira, if I have noticed a difference between this Stinger team and maybe the Stinger team from, say, last season, is that dogged determination. Great follow-up we see there by Donald. But they have bent but not broke in more recent games. You know it's a game of runs, but they've been able, when they built up leads, to match the energy of the opposing team and be able to assert themselves to get back in front.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with chemistry. You get chemistry with trust and playing with each other and having fun, right? And they're doing that right now. They're playing for each other. They're enjoying it. You can tell that they like one another. So you're so much more well-equipped to battle those momentum swings and those runs because you're on the same page. You know that you're going to show up for each other and control what you can control.
Absolutely. Gilliam trying to make a pass to the inside, to the streaking big, but didn't work. Turnover, Calgary, Edmonton ball. Miller bringing it up. Donald in the backcourt with him with Hornsby, Smith, and Bourchier. Elijah Miller, crafty, taking it under the basket, a la Steve Nash. Nice jump hook over the shoulder, 23-point lead extension.
I'm gonna clip that and give it to my guards. Make them watch it.
That's right. Gilliard comes back, gets the mismatch he wanted with the bigger Smith. Has a nice drop down three. 7:17 left, 90-70. Edmonton Stingers lead. Tay Donald fouled with the ball. Stingers ball on the sideline. This is an interesting lineup because you don't have really any what I would call scorers in the game, other than Nick Hornsby, who's had a great game, a great all-around game tonight. Offense, defense, rebound, passing. So they're manufacturing their points.
Which I think is a huge goal of theirs too. You know, share the ball, find the open look. Everybody should be found in a successful position.
Absolutely. Nick taking a little bit of a Kareem Abdul running sky hook there. Surge ball, 20-point lead. Gilliard craftily drawing the foul from Hornsby. This is that key pivotal time in the game. You've got to lead, but you have to be on guard that you don't start getting flat or careless on either side of the basketball, Kira.
Well, and like the Surge are so scary in target time as well when it comes to just scoring, you know, getting downhill. Like they have such a history of being really successful in target time. From my experience anyways, especially watching the Stingers. So they're scary, and you're up 20 now, and that's great, but you need that buffer when you get into target time against a team like this.
100%, and the Stingers also have some history where target time's a little bit scary for them.
Yes.
Scotty Lindsay misses on the three-point attempt coming in. Stingers with a couple of unproductive possessions, let's call them that. Calgary coming back, trying to cut into this lead. Tough defense by Chris Smith, bodying up, not reaching, leading the fast break. Over to Scotty Lindsay, nice block on the inside. Mason Bourchier, another three. Spotting up, starting to find his rhythm and his confidence. Again, not looking for his shot, but when he has it, he has to take it, and he knocks it down. That is the exact kind of response that the Stingers want. Bourchier leading the fast break. Smith with the basketball. Sean East back in the game. Ambrose Hilton back in the game. Chris Smith feeling it. Big man from deep, extending the lead out to 26 with 5.5, closing in on target time, 1.5 minutes left to go. Calgary scores, cuts it down to 24. Bourchier bringing it up along with Smith, Lindsay, Ambrose Hilton, Sean East the second. Bourchier out front. Mason Bourchier, heady, under control, penetration to the basketball. Kira finding the cutting Ambrose Hilton. Miller Moore taking the ball to the basket, drawing the contact. He'll go to the free throw line for two. But talk about the contribution of Mason Bourchier. Again, you don't see it in the numbers, although he's hit a couple of threes tonight. He's not, generally Mason's not going to have a 20-point night. But all the little things he does to contribute to this team's success is really impressive, isn't it?
You know what you're going to get out of him all the time. He's very consistent and stable. He's composed. He's got a really good energy about him when he's out there as well. And he plays physical. He plays tough, and all the intangible things, like you said, like he does them. And he's definitely a big contributor and a big piece of their success.
Every team needs players like Mason Bourchier who are willing to do the dirty work, willing to do the little things that don't show up on the stats sheets. Scotty Lindsay going to work on Gilliard, posting him up in the mid-range, in the mid-post. Nice fadeaway jump shot with the size advantage. 26-point lead, 4:22 as we close in on target time. Pickett, nice three-point shot, cutting the lead to 23. We have what I would think to be a mass substitution coming in for the Surge as Scotty Lindsay taking the three, hitting it, extending the lead to 26. Timeout, Stingers, as we are into target time now, 1:03.79. You're watching the CEBL basketball live on TSN Plus, CEBL Plus, powered by Tony Bet and Next Level Sports and Entertainment, the U.S. home of the CEBL.
Did you know that every CEBL game ends on a game-winning bucket? Yep, every single one. That's because we use something called target score ending, a thrilling twist that keeps fans locked in till the final shot. So what is the target score ending? Here's how it works. The first time the clock stops with 4 minutes or less left in the fourth quarter, the game clock is turned off. We enter target score time. We take the leading team's score, add 9 points, and that becomes the target score. Let's say it's 91-80. That means the first team to hit 100 wins. No ticking clock, no intentional fouls, just pure clutch basketball. It's fast, it's electric, and it guarantees that every game ends with a bang. Experience the target score ending this CEBL season. And don't forget, you can watch every game-winning bucket live for free on CEBL Plus.
You know what? We're back here in Hall D. I'll tell you what, Sarah and Kira, that's a big number up on the board. 112 for target time. What an example of this offensive explosion by the Edmonton Stingers.
Remember when they shot 7%?
Yeah, that seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Lifetime ago.
It's not often we see games that crack 100. And just to be clear, so that record that the Stingers set, that was for the most points in the third quarter. They were one shy of the most points in any quarter.
Wow. That was a display. You just have to love that. And the fans certainly have, as they have been entertained by their home team tonight. 24-point lead as we go into target time. Scotty Lindsay, heat check. Why not? Why not? Make it rain, Scotty. You have been phenomenal tonight.
And now it gets scarier because he's stopped smiling again.
Yeah,
now,
he's locked in.
Yeah, now it's scary. The smiling is a lot of fun, but then when he hits something like that and then just doesn't have any reaction, you're like, oh no.
I know, he is locked in. Heat seeking. Stingers, ball out of bounds. 27-point lead. 106-79. They need 6 to get to 112 and end this thing. Shawnee's bringing it up. Pressured. Good pass to Hornsby, of course. Ambrose Hilton fighting for the rebound. Calgary, though, Jackson with his first action tonight. Scotty Lindsay's doing it all. Blocking shots, knocking it from downtown. Penetration. But Scotty says, get it out of here. I'm not going to do the Jack Armstrong thing because you can't go into that sacred territory, but.
And we're all better for it, I think.
We certainly are. There's only one guy that can do that. Sean East, headman, they've got numbers. Scotty Lindsay having a night. Finding the open. Sean East. Sean has had a quiet night from the 3, doing other things. Soft touch off the glass. That's the thing about Sean. When he gets around the rim, his ability to slow down his pace, but to put it soft off the glass is so impressive.
Yeah, he made that look so easy.
He does. His repertoire makes everything look easy. Speaking of.
Oh, goaltending.
Goaltending, absolutely. Shawnee's doing it all. Hornsby seeing over the defense as Shawnee's gets out behind the defense. Makes it 110-81, 29-point bulge for the Stingers. 2 points away from a victory, a decisive victory against the Calgary Surge. Two points away. Calgary scores, cuts the margin to 27. Michael Nuga with the basketball, taking it to the rim. Nice play on defense from behind. Boki in his first action tonight, too. Brown finishing at the rim. Stingers fans getting on their feet, looking for the Stingers to finish this off, finish this up. Travel by Hornsby. This is something. This is one of those times where you're glad you're up 25, Kira, because the Stingers have had a little bit of a history with moments like this.
I think you're always glad you're up 25.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point. That's good. There's never a bad time to be ahead by 25 points, is there?
No, of course not. But yeah, you're right. It just doesn't. But they tend to do this. I don't know. They white knuckle a little bit, but yeah, it's nice to have that buffer for sure, especially when you're only hunting for 2.
You're hunting for 2, trying to get the job done. Mason Bourchier doing the smart thing, picking it up, forcing the Surge. Nice take to the basket by Jackson. And like I said, he just got into the game for the first time in target time. Nice take to the rim, gets fouled, cutting the margin to 23. 112 is the score that the Stingers have to get to. They're at 110. Free throw missed. Brought in by Ambrose Hilton. Nick Hornsby, point forward, bringing it up. Mason Bourchier.
Oh.
Once again, passive, sloppy with the basketball. Three-pointer all night long has been his motto for 23. Adeladoon again, cutting it to 20. That's a big lead, but people are starting to get antsy.
Momentum is a crazy thing.
It is. It is a crazy thing, and we're seeing some craziness take place right now.
It wouldn't be a Battle of Alberta with just the most amount of chaos you can think of.
Absolutely. But of course, that's always a good option. Find the guy.
Poetic.
Poetic justice is served as the Stingers win the Battle of Alberta to take a 2-1 series edge in this CEBL season. 113-90. Outstanding performance by the Stingers, who were down 3 at halftime. Kira had a historic third period, scoring 42 points. Most ever. Sean East, ever the court vision, finding the guy who had been lighting it up in the second half, Scotty Lindsay, knocks down the 3 to finish off what has been an outstanding night, not just for him, but for a range of Stinger players that contributed to this very decisive and impressive victory over the Surge, putting the Stingers within striking distance, not just of the Surge, but also of Vancouver.
Such a huge game. Like, coming into this, being the series decider, like I said, they're always battling with each other when it comes to the postseason. So having that win over them, and not to mention just to keep the streak alive, they've been playing such good basketball, and to get another win at home is huge for the club, for sure.
Well, and you know what? They do it in such a variety of ways. Like tonight, it was Scotty's night, but there were other players. Ambrose Hilton's hustle in the third quarter And I'll tell you what, as we go over to now our player of the game with Sarah, we've got the whole team here. So we'll turn it over to Sarah Ryan and the Stingers and the MVP, Scotty Lindsay.
Oh my goodness. I mean, listen to this, folks. The Stingers were just inviting one of the Surge players to come join them in this, what really just looks like a lot of fun. Scotty, you went 7 for 11 from the three-point line, 29 points. Talk to me about your confidence growing through the season.
I mean, you just got to keep shooting. That's all it is. These guys give me confidence. All of us believe in ourselves. It's 5 in a row for us, so our confidence is at an all-time high.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you guys have been keeping track, but you broke a league record, 42 points in the third quarter.
Hey, his name is Scotty Too Hotty. Come on now.
All right, Scotty Too Hotty. You'll have to tell me what changed in the third, because you went into that quarter down.
I mean, I got a technical foul in the first half. I had 2 fouls. I was out. I mean, we lost the lead, but we came back in the third quarter with a lot of energy. We know this is a big game for the team. It's a rivalry. We wanted to win, so that's all it was.
And the last thing I have to ask, I mean, this is the second time that we've all met like this post-game. You look like you're having fun.
No, this 5 in a row. Like, these my guys. Like, this what we do. This what we do. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Now you'll head out on the road. Thank you so much, Scotty.
Well, that is becoming a tradition, Kira, with that kind of group interview afterwards. The good thing was, last time there was some colorful language that wasn't repeated tonight. So, but you can see the Stingers are having fun. And of course, the sun always shines brighter when you're winning, when you're hitting shots. But the thing about this team, Kira, is they're hitting shots and they're winning because they're playing so well, and they're playing so well from such a different variety of, in such a different variety of areas in the game.
Yeah, just very well-rounded basketball. They're trusting each other. The ball is moving. They're getting out and running. Yeah, just very well-balanced and doing a fantastic job. And like you said, winning kind of solves a lot of problems, and you're more willing to share the basketball when things are going your way and find each other, and then you get excited. But yeah, they're playing such good basketball. It's really fun to watch.
You know, I have to point out the outstanding performance tonight by Olamide Adeladun from Calgary. 25 points, really shot the lights out from the three. Gilliard, the new player, 9 points after a 25-point CEBL debut. The Stingers did an outstanding job. Greg Brown had a nice game with 16 for the Surge as well. On the Stingers side, Scotty Lindsay with 29. Sean East, 22. 1 or 2 points below his average on what you would call a quiet night. So 18 points. So I have to point out and give tribute to Nick Hornsby. 18 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Outstanding performance by Hornsby in all areas of the game. Our next CEBL broadcast, as CEBL Season 7 continues, is on Wednesday with a day and night doubleheader. First, the Ottawa Blackjacks visit Brampton for the Honey Badgers Camp Day game from the CAA Center, tip-off at 12:30 Eastern. Then later that night, the Alliance travel to Scotiabank Saddle Dome to take on the Calgary Surge in the Saddle Dome. Catch the action nationwide on TSN at 7:30 Mountain and 9:30 Eastern. Catch all the action on TSN Plus and CEBL Plus, powered by TonyBet. Well, this has been a game. This has been all that we could have asked for, hoped for, as the Battle of Alberta took on a new dimension when I think of that first game of the season. So it's just been fantastic.
It's funny, you know, I'm looking at Shawnee's stats, and he had a quiet game, but he still had 22 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds, and only 2 turnovers. Like, such a solid game, and quiet because of, you know, the success of so many others, but still very dominant from Sean East.
Sean East, you know, what I love about Sean is his heads-up play permeates all areas of the game. He finds his teammates. He has his craftiness seems to come up with baskets. He seems to come up with the basketball at such critical times. Like we talked about him getting the ball in the middle of all the big guys. He just has this way of doing it. Second effort, and just has a nose for the basketball. But I think the overall feeling on this team right now, yeah, they're on a streak. Things are going their way. But the reason it's going their way, Kira, is because of the way they're playing together. They're finding each other. They're going to the hot hand. They're not trying to sit on the basketball. They're trying to get people involved. They really came out in the second half with the resolve that they were going to turn this thing around, didn't they?
Well, in my opinion, and something I hear all the time is like they're playing the way the basketball gods want you to, so things go your way. You know, you're sharing the basketball, you're getting good looks, you're not forcing anything, but you're playing with pace. The basketball gods like that, so they usually shine on you a little bit brighter.
Well, the Stingers take the Battle of Alberta over the Calgary Surge, 113-90, cutting us into the lead by both Vancouver and the Surge. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. On behalf of my partners tonight, Sarah Ryan and Kira Lyons, this is Paul Sir. Thanks for joining us here for the Edmonton Stingers and the Calgary Surge in the Battle of Alberta. Have a great night, everyone.